G'day guys. Righto. About 12 hours after the Spurs Manchester United game, and just a few thoughts. Well, first of all, before we start, you could probably say I've jumped off the Celtic bus and onto the Tottenham bus, because basically it's all about Ange. Yeah, huge fan. The guy, a lot of people saying he's got huge emotional intelligence. Well, I think it's pretty clear that he's just intelligent. He's probably the smartest man in the room, except for when he's a guest speaker at the Oxford University fundraising event. But he's an Aussie who is about to take the football world by storm, because basically, if you think the whole of planet Earth, the number one sport is football or soccer. The manager has to be obviously the brains of the operation, and he's about to challenge the very best in the world, and that's a huge thing, So, I've been looking at Ange for years, and he's never once come across as a bit of a dick, so a bit of a, he's not a good person, and so that's why I'm on the Spurs bus. And Spurs are a club that have always been like a favourite cousin type thing, There's nothing against them, really. Anyway, here we are. So just a few thoughts on the team, the tactics, the players, and where they're going. Righto. When we talk, obviously everybody talks, but including myself, when we're talking about the players, it's just the players in the context of professional athletes at that level. Because obviously they're much better players than obviously me, and they're good people. Not criticising as people. That needs to be said from the outset. Righto. Tactics. Yep. Aggressive style of play. The Ange ball style of play. But I think the whole season can be summed up in the first 2 minutes of the game last night. Have a look at it. From kickoff, Spurs, pass, shot. Oh, other team gets the ball, pass, shot. But just the clinical nature of that passing, the way it progressed down the field in a heartbeat and then come back. I think that's what it's going to be like. So look out, season 23-24. It's going to be awesome. Speaking of the sponsors, AIA, you probably think it's the official sponsor, but it actually stands for Ain't It Awesome? So it's just an awesome way of playing football. And I urge anyone who, especially in Australia, or the states where football's not the main sport, you could do a lot worse than invest yourself in Spurs for the skill, the emotion that's about to happen, the ups and downs, primarily because they play, and it's a cliche, they're going to play a beautiful game. It's going to be beautiful to watch. And last night, there were moments, long periods in the second half especially, it was just beautiful to watch. Anyway, I hope you just can see that and appreciate it for yourselves and try to understand what I'm trying to say. Okay. The big danger with the way the boys are playing, because they play so high, is obviously the counter-attack. But I think what we'll see is the counter-attack. Because we want space. We want the other team in our goal, having a crack. Because once we get it, unlike other teams who will be happy just to boot the ball away to safety, you watch. Pass, Spurs will be space, explode down the side, and we'll be having a crack. So we'll score a lot of goals this year on the counter. That's what I reckon. Good teams will come at us, and so we'll have more space when we do attack back. Lesser teams, like let's say Luton, let's pick on Luton. They'll probably, just like Brentford, they'll probably have the whole team in their 18-yard box just to try and hold us out, which is obviously much tougher to score. But conversely, they'll have bugger all chance of scoring against us, so a 1-0 win in those sort of games. But when we play the good teams who will come at us, I think we'll see some amazing counter attacking, and it's going to be great. Righto, players. Yep, they've all smashed it. Lots have been said about the key players. Kulusevski, K-Man, is not quite special, but hopefully within a few weeks we'll be able to call him the Special K. The big thing, the defence has been okay. In saying that, actually they're bloody awesome. Van de Ven, brilliant. Romero, but the new Udogie, unreal. And it was pretty clear when Royale come on last night why he's not in the starting team, because he's just not quite there. His skill's not quite there. But the defence we've got will be seen to be amazing, especially when you've got the two defensive mids next to him, Basuma and Sarr, who are obviously A-grade material. Maddison, obviously, but obviously Richarlison. Now, I reckon he's got about 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks before he's gone. It's not the fact that he's not scoring. That's neither here nor there really, because you've got to get the chances. But he loses the ball unnecessarily. For the guy who's like Brazil's number 9, but it's his attitude. He's pouting. He hasn't smiled in 3 years. He's thumping the ground when the keeper didn't fumble the ball. I mean, he seems to think that it's all about him, but obviously it's not about him. He's a diva and a diver, and that's not the Ange way. You got to stay on your feet as much as you can. He's just a diva, and it's not going to work. And I'm sorry for the camera rocking. Oops. It's being held up by some chopsticks and a candelabra and a rubber band. Righto. Yeah, so Richarlison's the issue. It'll get sorted out though. We'll get someone in. Everybody else is, they'll, as you've seen obviously, or if you haven't seen, you will see that Ange is building a really good team. Now, that game last night, I mean, that was Manchester United, and there were periods when we made it seem they were the training opposition. You can only play as well as you're allowed to play, and people will bag Man United for the way they played, but you got to credit Tottenham. Made them look ordinary in places. Really did. Okay. As for the future, all right, the next 3 games are probably easy. Bournemouth and Burnley. No, easy is not the right word. And that's the beauty of the Premier League. There's no gimmicks. Like in Australia, in the NRL, you come up against the Tigers, you're good for 2 points. You know you're going to win, even though they won on the weekend. But the Premier League is 20 good teams. That said, Spurs should win the next 3 games, or at least not lose. Then it's Arsenal. And wow, that's going to be the ticket. Spurs, Arsenal, both will be top of the table, nearish, besides Man U. Not Man U, Man City. Yeah, look out, Derby. Basically, what Tottenham did to Man United last night, given that the team's been together for 5 minutes, given that still missing key midfielder in Bentancur, given that the keeper's been in the team for 5 minutes, and the cohesion obviously will increase out of sight, the being able to train, all that. It's as if Spurs have been together for 3 years. And it's been 2 games. So if you're in the world, anywhere in the world, watching this on wherever, YouTube or whatever, and you want to follow a team in a sport that you may not know much about, get on board, check out. Like, Tottenham Hotspurs are named after Harry Hotspur, who was a knight back in the 1300s. And he was called Hotspur because he would often be ultra aggressive in battle, hot-headed. That's exactly how the team plays now. So as far as what your team stands for, and I think the slogan is Dare to Dream or something, Dare to Do. These guys, in the last 5 minutes of the game last night, up 2-0, 1-0, they were passing the ball in front of the keeper, playing football. They weren't content to boot it downfield like all other teams would do. Gutsy, skillful, and that's the team. So if you're looking for a team, get on board. If you're a Spurs fan, obviously you know what I'm talking about. And if you go for another team, don't know why you're watching this, but we're coming for you. And just to finish off, there's been a fair bit said about players playing for Spurs who play the Ange way or are suited to Ange's system. I'll tell it to you. All he's after is skillful players. Ideally with speed, but skillful players who don't crap themselves when they're put under pressure. That's all it is. Skillful players who can beat the person, beat two, get out of tight spaces, not freak out, not panic, because they have that skill. Basuma, Sarr, Madison, Van der Ven. These guys, Udogi. These guys are skillful players. These are Ange players, Spurs players. In fact, the only guy from Man United that we'd probably be happy to take last night is... Yeah. No. None of them. All right. Next week, let's go. Spurs. See you later.